guys, have you heard anything about the pituitary gland?
Yes, it's familiar, but I don't know the functions.
It is an endocrine gland, which means it secretes hormones.
Oh, wait. I watched a video that explains the function of pituitary gland in our body. Okay, I'll find it. Here it is.
The pituitary gland is often dubbed the master gland because its hormones control other parts of the endocrine system, namely the thyroid gland, adrenal glands, ovaries, and testes. The hypothalamus signals pituitary gland to stimulate or inhibit hormone production. The pituitary acts after the hypothalamus prompts it.
Pituitary gland is only about 1/3 of an inch in diameter, located at the base of the brain. Since their functions are so intertwined, it's no surprise that the hypothalamus and pituitary are located near each other. They're connected by the pituitary stalk, the infundibulum.
It consists of two parts, a front part called the anterior pituitary and a back part called the posterior pituitary. The pituitary gland sits in a bony hollow called the pituitary fossa. This is behind the bridge of the nose and below the base of the brain, close to the optic nerves.
Pituitary glands are made of the anterior lobe and posterior lobe. The anterior lobe produces and releases hormones. The posterior lobe does not produce hormones. This is done by the nerve cells in the hypothalamus, but it does not release them into the circulation. The anterior pituitary makes several important hormones: growth hormone, puberty hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, prolactin, and adrenocorticotropic hormone. The posterior pituitary makes the fluid balance hormone called antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin.
As alluded in the last section, some of the neurons within the hypothalamus, neurosecretory neurons, secrete hormones that strictly control the secretion of hormones from the anterior pituitary. The hypothalamic hormones are referred to as releasing hormones and inhibiting hormones, reflecting their influence on anterior pituitary hormones. Hypothalamic releasing and inhibiting hormones are carried directly to the anterior pituitary gland via the hypothalamic hypophyseal portal veins. Specific hypothalamic hormones bind to the receptors on the specific anterior pituitary cells, modulating the release of the hormone they produce.
Clearly, robust control systems must be in place to prevent over or under secretion of hypothalamic and anterior pituitary hormones. A prominent mechanism for control of the releasing and inhibiting hormones is negative feedback. Mr. Don Pepot, do you take Miss Pate Batumbakal to be your lawfully wedded wife, in sickness and in health, till death do you part? I do. Miss Pate Batumbakal, do you take Mr. Don Pepot to be your lawfully wedded husband, in sickness and in health, till death do you part?
I do.
By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride. my love, so sweet. I'm gonna buy food, ah.
Come on, we can do this without. No. Push into your bum. Bring those legs right back. Good girl. Oh, good girl. Go on then. Fab. Good girl.
Oxytocin acts on the uterus and breast. It affects uterine contractions in pregnancy and birth, and subsequent release of breast milk.
Good morning, Mrs. Pepot. Ito na po yung kambal nyo.
Prolactin acts on the breast. It stimulates the breast to produce milk. This hormone is secreted in large amounts during pregnancy and breastfeeding, but is present at all times in both men and women. It also maintains progesterone level.
Growth hormone is essential in the early years to maintaining a healthy body composition and for growth in children. In adults, it aids healthy bone and muscle mass and affects fat distribution and it all cells in the body. It stimulates and repair and stops the effect of insulin, promotes hepatic gluconeogenesis, and stimulates lipolysis.
Thyroid-releasing hormone from the hypothalamus binds to receptors on anterior pituitary cells called thyrotropes, stimulating them to secrete thyroid-stimulating hormone or TSH. The anterior pituitary hormones enter the systemic circulation and bind to their receptors on other target organs. In the case of thyroid-stimulating hormone, the target organ is the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland secretes its own hormone called thyroxine, which is essential for the body's growth and development.
Follicle-stimulating hormone works with LH to ensure normal functioning of the ovaries and testes. Luteinizing hormone works with FSH to ensure normal functioning of the ovaries and testes. It controls reproductive functioning and sexual characteristics. It stimulates the ovaries to produce estrogen and progesterone and the testes to produce testosterone and sperm. LH and FSH are known collectively as gonadotropins. LH is also referred to as interstitial cell stimulating hormone in males.
The adrenocorticotropic hormone, also known as corticotropin, will be released by the pituitary gland to stimulate cortisol production in the adrenal glands when you're stressed.
The antidiuretic hormone, also known as vasopressin or arginine vasopressin, acts on the kidneys. It controls the blood fluid and mineral levels in the body by affecting water retention by the kidneys. Most of the hormones of the pituitary gland is controlled by negative feedback. The negative feedback of the pituitary hormone on the hypothalamus prevents the releasing hormone from being released. For example, adenocorticotropic hormone inhibits CRH release. Similarly, there is negative feedback on the target tissue hormone at both the pituitary and hypothalamic level. For example, cortisol from the adrenal cortex inhibit the release of ACTH from the pituitary and CRH from the hypothalamus, keeping levels of cortisol at equilibrium.
The pituitary gland is an important gland in our body.
Yes, I agree. It secretes a battery of hormones that